Smart 24, driving business.
Good evening and thank you so much for joining us today. Today happens to be the 16th of April 2024. Last Tuesday I came here and I said 2029. I don't know exactly which year it is. I say 2029. I'm in the future, ladies and gentlemen. But welcome back to the Economic Agenda. My name is Noah Wapera. I am your host of this very great show that brings you conversations that take us into the insights of politics and economics. You can't separate those two in a number of times. Well, today we're going to get into another conversation. We are looking at labor export, the contributions and challenges, or the challenges and contributions. But in most cases, for such conversations, it's always good to first assess the contributions so that you look into the negative later. So expect a very good conversation. I have my very usual suspects today. They are going to be introducing themselves once more. The time check is about 9 minutes past 9. And we are just getting started with our conversation. What I can tell you, you can join us on Twitter, that is Smart24TV live, and also on Facebook you can join us. You can also join me on Twitter, X apparently, at Noah Wapera, and be part of the conversation that is going to be happening here. You can leave us a comment, you can leave us your opinions, because I believe this conversation is crucial and timely, as so many things are happening in the country. Recently, we have seen how the government has announced that they are trying to get people who are abroad, Ugandans who are in the diaspora, to benefit from the PDM, that's parish development model. And for the record, I would like to let you know of one thing. Uganda contributes, the labor export in Uganda contributes greatly to the economy. I think records show that we earn 6.49 million US dollars in a year from the Uganda labor export. And we have over 120 Ugandans who are living abroad. And the country that has been cited having the biggest number of Ugandans who have been taken in for labor purposes is Saudi Arabia, which has almost quite a margin of people coming from Uganda working there. Some of these are doing casual labor, some of these are doing professional work. But we are going to get to understand what are the benefits that we're getting from some of this industry, in the industry of labor, from the different countries and from different Ugandans living abroad. I'll give an opportunity to my guests today to introduce themselves, starting with the man next to me. He's a usual face. Yes, please.
Well, thank you so much, dear the host and the management. Dear viewers, the usual suspect, LYADDA Moses, commonly known as People Power back home in the village. Any other introduction?
Thank you so much for being part of the show today, and thank you for accepting to join us.
You're most welcome.
Yes, Mr. James.
Yes, good evening, viewers. My name is James Wire, and I'm a community advocate and an entrepreneur based in Kampala, largely. Nice to be with you tonight.
Today they're very brief. They seem to be, it's either a lot of content boiling in their minds. The last time we had James here, he tried to give us his profile and it couldn't end. We also have LYADDA. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to this conversation. And as I said, you can still join us from wherever you are. Now, Many times I wouldn't like to get into a conversation before people connect with me to understand what exactly labor export is. Somebody might be thinking it's another tax. You know what's happening in Kampala? For the purpose of updates, the traders went on another strike.
But not Kampala.
Before we get even into understanding labor. Not only Kampala. Wait.
Around Chireka, things are hard.
Around Chireka? But it's still Kampala anyway. This man loves Chireka. So much. He wants separate. But
URA has been there asking taxes.
Wait, even Mukono traders
from businesses
so it's getting
capital
wider.
You can't
of 2 million shillings.
Markets closed, everything.
You were saying?
Around Chireka, in the municipality, in Ichira municipality, today and yesterday and the other day, officials of URA on national TV have been assessing, not actually assessing, demanding immediate payment
of tax.
To small businesses of Saloon, which I imagine they are around 1 million shilling capital.
Yeah.
The little economics I remember is you must be having a profit of 2,820,000.
Actually, that might be higher. We had here a lady who is very well versed with taxation. She's called Nachimuli Hanifa, who gave us details of what you should have before you are taxed. And unfortunately, we also had a professor here who was explaining to us how this tax is actually getting wrong in some way.
So the
but also emphasized tax is a mandate; it has to be paid. James,
I think
James, before you say anything about this tax, there's something I want you to talk about. Are we back to the head tax where they used to chase people up to the swamps to collect tax?
No, the head tax was cutting across. It was required to be paid whether you're productive economically or not.
Or not.
Yeah.
So that was more dangerous.
Yeah, this tax here is more of people who are economically productive. Yeah, but the bigger issue, you have to sometimes look beyond just what is happening here.
Yes.
Paying tax is good, and I know many Ugandans wouldn't mind paying tax.
Yes.
However, when you see these things going on around you, you don't see any value from the tax you pay. You see a lot of wastage. You have just paid tax, then you hear Parliament 10 billion is being put on an individual's account. 2 billion is being given to radio station for doing nothing. 5 billion is being given allowances for someone who's going to Nairobi, getting $4,000 per day per diem. That automatically stirs up something in there. So it's not so much about the fact that people don't want to pay tax, while it may be an issue also, but it's more to do with the way the government has failed to convince Ugandans that their tax is being put to good use.
Okay, today we are not into taxation, but this is a very important situation because traders are now, that's the third day just this month that traders have closed. You may not understand the impact of this whole situation, but URA must be losing billions of shillings in the days that traders close. So the question is how or whether it's going to be addressed soon, and whether we shall come to an amicable understanding and let the economy grow as we want it to, because recently it was announced that we are in the middle income. We achieved middle income. That will be for another day. Let's get back to the topic. Gentlemen, LYADDA.
Yes, please.
I would like to understand, if you're talking to the people of your village, how will you make them understand what labor export is?
Thank you so much, dear viewers, once again. If I'm talking to my people of BUTALEJJA and the neighboring places around, labor export would literally mean the taking of people abroad for purposes of employment or work. That is whether you're skilled, unskilled, but in this context, these people should be legally acceptable or taken. Yeah, so a situation where you have gone there illegally, the meaning ceases to be labor export.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's purposefully they are taken abroad or they go abroad. I don't think if we say that they are taken or they go.
Yeah, most of the time.
They are permitted.
Most of the time, the data I know. Most of the people who go there, I've not boarded a plane yet.
You will.
But I think after the discussion, I'm also going to put my plea to the Speaker of Parliament for a service award and activism of Kadama. I indeed qualify, and I'm very sure the public would be like,
we'll get into those details of how you're being,
but basically
advocating for Kadama. But
I'm so much.
You're using another term. So many people don't understand what Kadama is.
Actually.
But Kadama,
yes.
Kadama actually, I think it means a house girl in Arabic or something like that. Not yet.
A maid, basically.
A maid in Arabic. So when they say Kadama, I think they refer to that, and it became a name. They are now calling Kadama.
All of us.
Exactly.
All of them.
And that is where I think I have had a lot of experience. Maybe I should also be referred to as a Kadama. Because I've had Sekadama. Kadama is a lady.
Ugandans are very good at adapting words.
Is a man.
In your experience, how would you explain a labor export? In the context of Uganda, I would like you to explain that actually.
Basically, it is the act of seeing Ugandans seeking for opportunities out of the country. And it's done in many different ways.
Yeah.
We have both the skilled and unskilled labor. And there are many Ugandans I know out there, though of course largely it is the unskilled that seems to have a bigger share lately. So for now, I think the rest we are going to talk as we go ahead.
Yes.
But basically that's what it encompasses.
Maybe let me chip in. For purposes of the discussion beyond the BUTALEJJA audience.
Of course. This is a national television.
I want to believe that even when you're working on a computer in Uganda, but as long as you're working, say the work you're doing is from USA, I want to believe that one also can be termed as labor export. You are the one who's good at IT. I'm here. I'm serving maybe BBC.
No, I wouldn't agree that that's labor export.
No, labor export involves when you actually physically are based out.
Because there is a physical and mental.
You see, if you're working here, whatever you're earning, whatever your office premises, whatever you hear. Okay, work in office, by the way, even in these other offices people are going to in Kampala lately. They are here in Kampala, but they're also doing work outside, beyond the boundaries of the country. So the fact that someone leaves the country physically to go and relocate, that is what you would call labor export. And it's done in different ways. For us here, people are going out of desperation. But if you look at the Europeans and the Americans, it is a strategy. These Bazungos you see here working on projects and what, those are now the Kadamas of the other side. They give us aid, then they say this aid is coming with our technical staff.
Yes.
And then they flood you with all these kids from university.
Well, they have a bargaining force. You can't say no.
Yes, that's true.
They are the giver of money.
Yes.
Unfortunately for us, there's no one can set the terms.
How is
Which
this
we are going to look at it in the next questions of
Comrade Noah,
the challenge.
if I'm a professor lecturing in South Africa, but using online, based in Uganda, is that not labor export?
I wouldn't really call it labor export.
I'm trying to think outside the box.
Anyway, maybe we may need a bit of more understanding about it, but in labor export, in this context of our conversation, we are looking at Ugandans that are basically taken or go abroad seeking for green pastures, even the smallest that they can get. Because some of these people are getting salaries that they can get in Uganda, but they have failed to get it in Uganda. So she's in Saudi Arabia,
correct,
working so hard, but that money she can get in Uganda, but she has failed to get an opportunity to get that money in Uganda.
correct.
Some of these are qualified that they deserve to get that salary in Uganda, but the opportunities have been limited.
Yes.
So I think I would like to look at it in that context. But The contributions. What are some of these sectors that are benefiting from labor export? Some of the sectors that are benefiting from labor export.
Okay. When you look at the majority, first of all, obviously, and the reason why they are called kadamas, it is obvious. Domestic care.
Domestic care
seems to be the biggest beneficiary in that. Okay, while I know there are people who are doing much more complex work than that, but those are just a very small microcosm. Most of the people are going out there to be maids, to do maybe clean, work at the airport, clean,
family,
that kind of thing. Okay, so for now from Uganda, largely that is it. However, there are quite a number of also Ugandans in the technology space that actually are leaving the country because of their skills. They are taken on and they are now working abroad.
Yes.
Okay. Others could be in even the medical field. Quite a number of Ugandan medical professionals are getting greener pastures. You heard the other time the UK, I know for a fact right now, countries like the UK are actively in need of people in the medical field.
In the medical field.
Yes, and they can easily find their way there. And they've begun going there.
Okay.
So while statistics may not be readily available, but I do know that it is something that is an area that is also taking shape. And I've heard of a few cases in areas like agriculture, mining, but they are not really significant what they're quoting. I would like to, I think I can authoritatively state that probably over 80% are just going out there to do more of domestic work.
So like in Uganda, if you're to assess some of the sectors that could be benefiting maybe directly in terms of this labor export, are there some of those sectors that you can say, okay, this sector is benefiting from the labor export majorly? Could it be education? Could it be?
I think, true. If you look at one, the construction industry is benefiting. A number of those kids who are going out there, especially the ones from rural settings,
Yes.
The first goal is I want to build a house for my parents. Simple goals.
Real estate has been boosted. Quite a number of them, when you talk to them, they are doing these mizigo.
Yes.
They do mizigo. They build houses, rentals.
Yes.
That have that they come back and people have access to housing at least some.
Yes, I know of a hardware company that even has a particular offer for those people, the kadamas. You work in Saudi Arabia, you want to build something, maybe rentals or whatever it is. They help you come up with a plan. When they come up with a plan, they quote for you, they do the costings for you, and once you put an amount X on the account, they actually even start they carry out the construction for you. And they give you updates while you're there.
Mr. LYADDA.
Yes, please.
You say you have dealt with the kadamas.
Yes.
Where are you seeing the benefits going for the kadamas?
Actually, on a record, the sector of kadama, to me, seems to be more important than Parliament.
Okay.
And of late. Because these kadamas,
you feel.
To me, and I want to go to Parliament.
Yes.
Because these kadamas, according to Monitor of February 12th, 2024, government under Ministry of Gender collected 25 billion shillings.
From kadamas?
Not kadamas now, from the companies. That is licensing, accreditation.
That are taking
the process,
so
because
that companies that are taking
the fees actually, it may not be necessarily the tax.
That's quite a lot of tax.
25 billion shillings. That is direct. That is minus the taxes they will be collecting from the money that these kadamas send us. as relatives, as friends.
You should also know that the money they send is also taxed.
Exactly.
So, but the tax
this is fees.
This is from the company.
Exactly. That you want to set up a company, you have to pay like 2 million shillings for a license. That is license. There are a lot of terminologies which you and me may not be, but there is authentication, accreditation, just like you would see a school. If it is a higher institution of learning, there will be, higher institution of learning give you accreditation of the course, what program. So the same case here. So only in that process alone, the Ministry of Gender collected 25 billion shillings. That leave down the money that comes directly.
Okay, this is not even URA tax.
No.
This is fees.
If you look at the regulations that are concerned with the recruitment of Ugandan migrant workers abroad, the regulations under the Employment Act, they stipulate different charges for different items and processes because there are certain requirements for any organization getting into that business before they can approve you.
Well, we are going to break down. We are going to go into a short commercial break. We are understanding the contributions of the labor export in Uganda, in Uganda's economy. But also we are going to stop at assessing which sectors are benefiting. You have highlighted Minister of Gender and Labor, Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development. You have also highlighted the real estate,
which is the line ministry.
Yes. When we get back, we are, I think, going to get into it a little bit to understand how this is benefiting the economy. For now, it's about 30 minutes past 9. We'll be coming back with the economic agenda. Today we are discussing the labor export in Uganda's economic development, the contributions and challenges. My name is Noah Wapera. Stay tuned. We'll return after a short commercial break.
Smart 24, driving business.
Rachel, Rich. The Queen Cobra, the password of the money, the original no spare parts, the 11th commandment, the question and the answer.
Sis, I know you want money, but I'm also broke.
Ah, no. Money is not an object. These days, Momo sorts me out anytime. In fact, my sister, let me also sort you out.
Really?
I've just sent you instructions on how to get a loan on Momo. I'm here for you. Can I borrow some chips?
When you need a loan, you've got MTN Momo. We're Sotinge. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Hello tech lovers, the Pixel tablet is here. Is Google back? Wow, we could all be asking the same question, but the Pixel tablet launches today into a field more crowded than ever, priced at £599. It's got the same chip as the company's flagship Pixel 7 smartphones, an 11-inch screen and a bunch of applications optimized to take advantage. But the standout feature is the dock, which you slap the tablet onto with some powerful magnets and effectively transforms the device into a home hub. You can see information like time and weather, have it cycle through photos, play music from the inbuilt speakers, control your lights, and its Hey Google voice assistant is always listening. Given that ever more muddled space between smartphones and tablets, Google will hope its decision to have it flat with the smart home market proves a masterstroke, considering its history with new products we will all know in about 2 years. Google has a history of killing off Go Pixel tablet, which comes with a twist, but can it find an audience?
Luxury redefined at Seasand Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy, exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full-course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasand Hotel. So visit today at Plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasand Hotels, luxury redefined.
Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for keeping it on Smart 24 TV. This is the Economic Agenda. My name is Noah Wapera. We are discussing the labor export, the challenges and contributions. Before we went for a short commercial break, we were looking at some of the contributions that the labor export. You see, it's one thing that people complain about some of this labor export, this and that. Yeah, of course, it has a lot of challenges that it has faced. But when you get to listen to these men that I'm with today, you realize that it has also contributed greatly to the economy, which is a good thing. And when we get into the challenges, we shall discuss them fairly and see if there are some of those solutions that can be done, or solutions that are already implemented that some of us may not be knowing out there. When we left, James was explaining the benefits.
Actually, it was me.
It was actually Mr. LYADDA who was explaining the contributions to the economy. You were handling the Minister of Gender,
yes.
Labor and Social Development.
Yes.
And you highlighted quite some good amount of money that has been collected.
25 billion shillings.
25 billion shillings from just the labor export. Fees. From
those recruiting agencies.
I thought I would have somebody from the Ministry of Gender today. Unfortunately, we were not able to get one. But this is where I would ask where this money goes. I won't ask you that.
No, you can ask.
It would be an allegation
no,
to the listener out there.
Not now as a politician, but basically every money that any ministry or government agency of late gets goes to URA and Bank of Uganda, it is either remitted under, for example, local government. A certain agreed amount comes back. So that one, but it is the responsibility of the line ministry to explain.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was giving other sectors because you had asked.
Which is what?
For example, the Civil Aviation Authority. Whenever there is an increased number of people going out, there is work for Civil Aviation Authority, and as well as the flight companies, the airline companies.
Uganda Airlines.
Because we have clearly highlighted here that over 120,000 people go abroad, you know, for work.
Yes.
And mainly about 89.1% to the are ladies going to Middle East. I think we must give it.
The statistics showed that in about 2 years there were about 120,000, and Saudi Arabia emerges as the top importer of Uganda labor, absorbing 89.1% migrant workers. 89.1%.
So it means all these air tickets would not be there if these ladies were not going abroad, or if these men were not going abroad.
Yes.
When you check the transport system, that these people, when they are going to the airport, okay, for example, my people from BUTALEJJA, you bought a taxi. I can tell you there are people who have come to Kampala for the first time when they are going to Saudi Arabia. There is a lady I came to pick, she had issues, and I was calling, do you know Kampala Mukade? I don't. Do you know Chireka? I don't know. Actually, for that lady, it was very tiny. She had issues coming back, and they wanted some money, kind of, so I was called from the village, because from the village they think I'm a foreign, maybe official or an ambassador. Whoever has issues, you know, whoever has issues, they will say, Mukubire people power in our local dialect. And I think I always take it up, because it is a blessing to say out of the many manually to be a first priority. So this time round, very interesting story. This girl comes, looks very tiny, and people at the airport who are giving assistance are like, this girl is underaged. Kumbe, the girl had 2 girls.
So back to the benefits. Yes. You have highlighted Ministry of Gender.
Exactly. Civil Aviation Authority.
Civil Aviation Authority.
Transport.
The transportation
the transport industry.
Transport industry.
Foreign affairs.
Foreign affairs.
Passports.
Yes.
URA. The education sector. Because most of these kadamas have left children. Those who have no children have brothers and sisters. They pay school fees. So
for the number of them that you talk to, they tend to tell you they're educating their
siblings.
Yes.
The media fraternity. I have cases, you know, especially in the print media. Even this paper I have. Much as it is a problem, the virtue that we are discussing this, we are promoting media. Perhaps if there was no labor exportation, we would not be having a discussion.
Actually,
when you come to the travel agencies and the exporting, labor exporting agency or companies.
Other benefits also.
Just one thing. How much are these labor exporting companies extracting from these young people? Any figures?
Based on some of the figures I saw, I think they vary. And it depends on the circumstances.
Because the one I knew was charging 5 million.
No,
just process.
What I saw charges starting from around 800,000 onwards. But definitely I wouldn't rule out those extravagant.
They are.
I was reading somewhere. It appears, could be guided if the officials were here, but it appears in the new regulation, you are not supposed to charge them money. But because of issues within our country, within our economy, you find that these people, and also the desperation of our people, they will ask from 300,000, 500, a million shilling, according to your bargaining power. Because there are a lot of people I know who have been charged 300. It differs from the agent. But again, there are also middlemen, because the agent is the one who has a license. For example, me, if I recommend you to that person, I get a commission. So because of that commission thing, you find that money varies. But at least as long as you have 300,000, between 300,000 to 2 million shillings.
Well, these agents are everywhere. These agents are in housing, these agents are in real estate, these agents are now in job opportunities, even local government jobs. You find agents who will tell you, "Me, I'll take you to the recruiters. You need to give me some 1.5. Agents, you find agents who will tell you, "I can help you be recruited in the army, in the police," and they are everywhere. The one thing that I see is that maybe some of these young people, as we get to challenges later, maybe some of them are being exploited. But for the benefits, you were adding on something about the benefits, James?
Yes. If you look at how the work they're doing is percolating, these people going out for the labor or the work in Middle East are impacting the economy in a much bigger way, especially at the social level, than the so-called few elites we have here.
Yes.
They may not be bringing a lot of money compared to others, but the money they bring in trickles down. It has a big impact on household incomes.
Yes.
If people who don't know Uganda well, you move around in the rural areas, you find a home even to earn 1,000 shillings a week.
It's a tag.
It's a miracle. Now when such a girl or a gentleman, young man sends home and says, "Here is 100,000 for the month."
Yes.
Some of you may laugh at it here in Kampala. "Oh, that's how many beers in a bar, that's just one night." But that money does change, okay? They have helped impact and improve on the living standards. We take many things for granted. Just the fact that in a household, now children can start dressing better, putting on shoes. That is a big change. So you can see the impacts trickle down.
So in other words, James, you are suggesting that the labor export industry has also helped us as Uganda to get a good fight against poverty.
Correct.
True.
First of all, but also the other day we were discussing SMEs, but we were focusing on taxation. And one of the things that we highlighted was capital. So it has been a big source of startup.
I was actually coming to that. Growth of the local economy.
I will apologize for highlighting your
Growth of the local economy.
Yeah.
These kids make money, they save, and they say, "What business can I do?"
Yes.
They start, now they're asking a better question than begging, "Oh, honorable, give me something, I want a chapati." They're saying, "What business can I do?" And they're speaking with confidence because they have money. So through that, and also the exposure they have, do you know that just traveling alone out of your normal location to any other place, whether within Uganda or outside, it adds something onto you as a human being? There's a lot that changes in your psyche. You start thinking differently. That's another big impact. Okay? Opportunities. They see certain things happening there. When they come back, they're like, "Oh, I want to try this. I was in Saudi Arabia, I saw ABCD, I think I can do the same here."
Same here.
There are some who are doing all that. Then unemployment. It is helping to also tackle the unemployment issue.
Yeah, unemployment issue.
Kids that have been idle, getting pregnant and giving birth to kids day and night that they can't look after. Now they are outside, they are working.
One single girl in the Middle East is helping to save a girl who would get pregnant and be married at the age of 15 somewhere in Bulambuli. Is helping a girl somewhere in Kiruhura.
It is a family planning
It's
tool
a
as
family
well.
planning. How it comes to be a family planning. Sometimes
Yes.
it gets to the extreme of this one.
I can defend it.
But James, yes, I still want to listen to more of some of these benefits.
So when you look at the numbers that are being quoted, 120,000 in how many years? 2 years.
In 2 years.
Okay? And that's likely to increase now that we're even coming up with...
No, this is not actually even the current. The number must be higher.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And with the bilateral arrangements coming up now, the agreements, they're making things more streamlined.
Yes.
And they'll even make it cheaper. Because the bilateral agreements, all the costs that some people have been begging these
That
kids
was
for
going to be my
are
next
all
question.
going to
James is thinking in my head.
Apply. Okay? So the numbers are growing, which means that we are again going to address, although my desire would be that as we have more and more numbers, we should not, as a government, a local government, lose sight of the fact that we have to ensure that there are employment opportunities for Ugandans within Uganda.
Within Uganda. Maybe that is going to be for another day. Employment, employment or unemployment in Uganda. You want to highlight on some of the employment opportunities that young people will take on instead of going abroad?
Within the country? But they are numerous. Actually, this country is not short of what to do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a lack of a conducive environment. As someone who has been in business now...
I mean, that's where someone somewhere would disagree with you. That the environment is conducive, but what to do is not there.
No.
You want to disagree.
What to do is there. The environment is not conducive.
How unconducive is the environment?
The way the setup is, you're starting up a business. From the day you register like this, you are asking for IFRIS. You haven't yet even made any money. You have all these burdens, tax this. Usually,
as soon as the egg is laid,
you're still incubating it before it even hatches.
They want to eat the chicken.
They still want to get from you. Okay, you're trying to get milk from a cow that has not yet gotten milk in its udder. That thing kills very many small businesses. That's why the lifespan of SMEs in this country is so short.
I wanted to add a few
years ago, James, I remember we got into a conversation.
Benefits.
Just a moment. A few years ago, we got into a conversation, I remember. And we were looking at the fact that Uganda is one of those countries with a conducive area for startups. Has that changed right now? We are still discussing the Dubai export. You just find the fact that, much as people can go abroad and look for work, they still work around. Has that changed? The fact that before, a few years ago, Uganda was registered as one of the most conducive environment for startups. Is that something that...
Now, when you say conducive, it also depends because you can split it up.
Okay.
Okay? It may be conducive because the opportunities are there. And it's true, Uganda is not devoid of opportunities. So many. Everywhere I turn.
In agriculture, in ICT now.
Anywhere you turn. Even rearing rats can make you money in Uganda. Did you know that?
Even goats.
Do you know how much a rat costs for lab experiments in a school? A-level students.
How much?
100,000 shillings, one rat.
I've
very fast.
I've heard of
21 days it is giving birth to around the streets.
That's why I hate those animals, but I think I will go and look for some of these rats.
So such a contract from government.
The opportunities are there.
James is encouraging people.
I want to add a few benefits.
This is not funny, but much as we laugh about it.
Yes.
Some of the things should be encouraged. Because I think it would be a shame to import rats from Kenya or Tanzania or China. LYADDA had something to say.
Yeah, I wanted to add a few concerns here that we get more of forex. When these ladies and men come back, they come back with that money. Unlike the civil servant of our society currently, who take the money per diem and spend it all,
in Dubai.
the Kadamas go and bring
it here, bring it home, yes.
So to me, those are my heroes.
This man is actually a serious advocate for the Kadam.
So we also see, you like economics so much.
I love it.
Let me make you smile. They promote a LEAD policy, local economic, LEAD, local economic development.
Yes.
A situation where you identify the local opportunities, invest in the local opportunities, instead of gambling with what you don't understand.
These young people actually gem. A serious one.
So taking the example of Bunyole under LEAD, they invest in rice growing, they invest in vegetables. So I think that one has made you...
What you talked about civil servants. Recently I was somewhere in a washroom, I won't say where. And I had these two gentlemen who were talking, they work with judiciary, according to the conversation I had. and I think they are doing some courses, they are upgrading. Now they're in a conversation like, I wish the government could fund us to do masters and all that. And I'm listening to them and I'm like, wait, there's actually a young person who has no capital. You are on a salary with allowances, and you can't use that opportunity to educate yourself. You are seeking for more. It's called rent seekers. It's a term that's related to economics. It's like someone giving you a bicycle, but you're going to use that bicycle to actually become a beggar from him. My bicycle has no tire, please give me some 20,000 I need to buy. But he has given me a bicycle to help you grow. Ugandans have this rent-seeking mentality. And when you highlight the issue of Kadamas actually contributing,
by spending the money locally.
Spending the money locally. You call it
local economic development.
Local economic development.
Yeah.
And then we have a civil servant who at the end of the month is going to spend 5 million in Dubai. We need to learn something.
And public money, not his.
Public money.
When you talk about that, you remind me, I'm a blogger, and there's an article I'm working on that is going to
that
show
is disturbing some people somehow.
how the younger generation is disproving the modus operandi of with the older generation. They're going to put us to shame.
They already put
you. You have already said you are rent seekers, and you've put it right in that article. I highlight, always asking. We need this before we do that. We need this. The younger generation, they are going out of their way to start thinking of solutions where they're finding problems, and I highlight examples.
I had more other issue of improving international relations. Because as we go to Saudi Arabia, you find that we're in good terms. Why? We have the labor. So you find that if these Kadamas were not going there, perhaps our bargaining power with Saudi Arabia or Middle East would be low. Then finally, they gain very unique skills. This is a person from Karamoja has never seen, a phone. Then is the other side is on Twitter, is everywhere, has never seen a flat iron, comes back when has these skills,
I'll give you a revolutionary story in the 18s about the European history, when the French army was requested to go and help. I think it was Americans, they went to fight alongside Americans against the Britons. When they went there, they saw the problems that Americans were fighting against. They were the same problems they were facing at home. So when they returned to France, they realized, okay, we are actually using the same resources to fight for people, but problem iko hapa nyumbani. So they put that energy to work in France. You get? We are exporting labor to the different countries. These young people, the same issue they are addressing, helping those families, because they face a lot of them, they realize actually there's energy at home. So in other words, we get challenged, and it's a benefit. I'm not highlighting this in an insightful way, no. I'm giving it as an example because them going to those countries, they are challenged to think. When you look at some of the houses they build, actually some of them are unusual houses.
Correct.
They are different. When you enter them, their interior, they admire something. It has helped them to improve. You highlighted the housing as one of the real estate
Yes.
the benefits as a sector. You realize that they get some architecture that is well. I mean, I have been, one of the places that I saw housing struggling was Mali. We were doing a project at some point, we wanted a house that had a raised roof. And most of the houses we entered, you stand and touch the ceiling. Now me, short man, if I touch, how about James? He's going to move scratching his head on. So I think these are some of the benefits. Anyways, one of the things that, as we discuss the contributions, are these young people, are these exported labor abroad, are they being appreciated in Uganda?
You see, in this world, you don't have to wait for people to appreciate you. For me, that's my policy.
You know what I mean by appreciating. It's not just thinking.
You simply do what you have to do, and you change what you can change.
Yes.
Eventually, whether they like it or not, they will appreciate.
So the appreciation that I'm talking about here, I'm looking at their efforts being put to proper use back in Uganda. Say the money that comes back. Is it being put to proper use?
Yeah. And actually, when you talk about that, there are cases of misuse of their income. Many of them, because they are financially illiterate.
And I'm not talking about family. Yes. Now, this is at national level. You're talking about the money they have contributed at Ministry of Gender.
Yes.
You're talking about the tax. Are they being appreciated by being given proper services, proper bilateral relationships?
Protection.
Proper protection, proper diplomatic assistance that protect them the other side?
I think in line with that, where the effort has been in, the government has tried to come up, as usual, it does very good policies. Okay? So there is, for example, there are certain regulations that are focusing on labor export.
Yes.
And they clearly define the expectations, for example, of the kind of company that is suitable to offer those services.
Yes.
And before they give you a license, they have a checklist they go through. Then, under those expectations, they also include the rights and responsibilities of the company to that job seeker. You know what they have to pay and all these things, and where there are bilateral relations between the two countries, say Uganda and Saudi Arabia, what should be done for free. They are clear on every item. They even aspects where they talk of training, induction training, before they go out. You don't just go and board a plane when you're from Moroto.
From Moroto.
Okay? A kind of thing.
James, I will cut you a little bit. We will step into a short commercial break. Of course, we need to make some money for my bosses. I need to get paid. So we'll go into a short commercial break. When we return, we are going to tackle a little bit more on that appreciation for this labor exported to the different countries, and if their efforts are being put to proper use. This is Smart 24 TV. My name is Noah Wapera, and you are watching the Economic Agenda that happens every Tuesday from 9 p.m. Stay tuned. We'll return.
Smart 24, driving business.
This is Jordan. When it comes to classwork, Jordan is magic. Jordan shines. Jordan makes his peers better. Jordan is a true leader. White Star Magic family. Be a leader. Be magic.
Can I borrow fuel? Biggie money, can I borrow renty? Manager, give me some caloni. Okay, what about 5K?
When you need a loan, you've got MTN Momo. Wesotinge. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
We've been through a lot. The only reason why we are still standing is because we're the Kirundas. And therefore the need to keep that name and legacy alive.
There's something you're not telling us.
What are you talking about?
So you knew about the people that killed Teresa and you kept it to yourself.
Lucy, the last time we did not do it properly.
Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome back to the economic agenda. My name is Noah Opera and this is Smart 24 TV, driving business on the daily. If you want to have a business mindset, you wake up in the morning and what smart means business and what women in business and what so many programs on this one channel. And we're on DSTV and GoTV and also on YouTube. Unfortunately today, for those that wanted to watch us on YouTube, we've had a little bit of technical problem, but I'm here with two gentlemen that are raising very good conversation in the area of labor export on Uganda's economic development, contributions and the challenges. That's what we are looking at. You can be part of the show or you can raise your contributions on Twitter, Smart24 on X. It's still stuck on Twitter. It sounds better. Or you can be part of the show. Make your contributions on X. That's at Smart24 TV. And also you can follow Noah Opera. And you can check out for James Wire. You can also check out for LYADDA Moses and see how you raise your comments there. We shall be sharing them. Before we left, we were discussing the issue of the appreciation of the labor, the people who have gone abroad for work. Their efforts being appreciated. The money that is paid to Ministry of Gender, is it being put to proper use? The tax that is they're paying, is it being put to proper use? Because one thing we forget is that at the end of the day, tax is paid, but services have to be achieved. So it's the same thing with these Ugandans that go abroad. And James was highlighting some of the bilateral relationships that are being built by the government. I also saw the president. I've seen the president on a number of occasions hosting delegates from Saudi Arabia, delegates from Emirates, United Emirates, on these discussions of how Ugandans can. Now I'm going to let the other talk about it, some of the appreciation. Then we shall get into challenges in the next few minutes.
Come again?
The appreciation. You had a contribution on if the labor
have been appreciated enough or not. Actually, I feel there are efforts towards that, but at the moment, as a state, as government, as a country, we have done less. Yes. Appreciate the efforts of these Kadamas. Why? I can give you dimensions. Last year, for the last 2 years, BUTALEJJA alone lost close to 10 girls. I attended the burial of about 4 physically. Others I never attended.
About 10 girls.
Exactly.
Died.
And it took...
Under what circumstances?
Unclear circumstances. Others were being poisoned. Others came back without internal organs. It took the community of online social media warriors to put to pressure to these companies.
Social media influencers.
Exactly. To ensure that these bodies are repatriated back. And I'm told that it's very expensive to bring a dead body back home than when you're normal. Most of these companies are being licensed. They are officially about 127 licensed companies
in Uganda
dealing in that. But there are equally 1,000 of unlicensed, unknown companies that are taking people abroad. But let us deal with a situation where these officially licensed companies, I can tell you, most of these companies, I think they are owned by big people in this country who are hard to be tackled.
To police.
When you go to police, for example, Interpol, are these people being appreciated enough? Because a situation where you are being appreciated, the moment they give a priority to Kadama, oh, it's a Kadama. Say, hey, you are going abroad as a Kadama, please come very fast.
So services are not rendered
on basis of being a Kadama, being appreciated. Instead, at times, they are being insulted as you're leaving, maybe at the airport, maybe at Interpol, maybe at the district level, because you know those clearances of you go to the RDC. I wish you invited me here with an RDC or RCC. These are people who sign those papers when you're going. I bet anybody, if those people have the statistics, that if you called your own RDC in BUTALEJJA and asked
the number of young people
how
who are
many
in Saudi
people
Arabia
are in Saudi Arabia,
but they send them,
they sign. If you went to the labor officer of any local government, I doubt whether they have. There was a time I had an issue with Minister of Gender. This one was an internal matter. They don't respond. They don't even give you a feedback. So where do I get the hope that they will respond to person?
So in other words, to the largest extent, you are suggesting that these young people are not appreciated enough.
Absolutely. And if government should come out very clearly and say, for purposes of Kadama, we are having a policy that your remittances, either they are tax-free when they are being sent home.
Yes.
Because it is a motivation. These girls go through a lot of things.
I'm told we give tax holidays to foreign investors.
Not you're told, it is a fact.
So,
and I know
why
people who don't even pay taxes here.
I wouldn't want to get there because it shall change the scope of this engagement.
Please make the contribution that you can. Yes.
So I feel government should be appreciative.
In other words, we are also now discussing the challenges that the Kadamas yes, we are into the challenges.
By ensuring
because
that if there's
from the contribution, you realize that Mr. LYADDA has driven us right into the challenges that the Sekadamas and Nakadamas are facing during their work. We are discussing the labor export on Uganda's economy. Now, we have looked at the benefits. We have also discussed the bilateral relationships that the government is putting in place. We have discussed the policies that are in place to make sure that the Sekadama, a bit of the policies, not so much details.
It is so painful.
Now, the challenges, James.
They are quite numerous, and usually they pop up when situations are going wrong, unfortunately. One has to do with the well-being of the workers.
During their stay
in
the different countries.
Faced a number of cases. They are promised X, they reach there, they find Y.
And they have no...
James, speak English.
Their well-being, okay?
Yes.
Two is the fleecing of these workers. Many times what they are told here is not what they find
in their country, in those countries.
You leave knowing, oh, I'm going to work in a supermarket, okay? And I'm probably going to be earning $500 per month. They're going to pay rent for me or something. They reach there, they don't even work in a supermarket. They are taken to become maids for like 4 families, and they are earning even less than half of what they have been
This
promised.
sounds like modern day slave trade.
Okay, you get it? So that is fleecing, okay? Including whatever they are charged here, those exorbitant fees that they tend to put on. Some people end up selling land, 3-4 million shillings to go out there. Then there's a poor monitoring by the government. The policies are nice. In Uganda, we are so good at setting policies.
Formulating policies.
On paper, we are so good.
If you had Dr. Ivan Kiza Twinomuhwezi, you would discuss it for the next 2 hours about policy implementation because he had quite a discussion about it. Yes, please.
You know, so good. But when it comes to action, we are barren. Totally barren. And that ends up affecting these workers eventually in so many ways. I'm not getting into details. Then you also have issues of back doors. These very workers, we are trying to see that we protect and have a good environment. Many of them leave this country using illicit avenues. They fear to follow the formal steps. They're the ones you hear, they went through Busia, then boarded from Nairobi, and they reached Saudi. The day they get a problem in Saudi, they start yelling like, the government is in charge of them. So sometimes it also affects us here because we don't know how did you reach there, which agency did you use?
Yes.
So and so, that's so and so. Who is that? It's not registered with the government.
I think in this business, young people or Ugandans should avoid backdoor because it's actually more dangerous.
You see, backdoor is faster.
But then it's dangerous.
But then that's the problem. They don't want to go through the normal procedures. Okay?
That's how you end up in a wrong company, taking you to do prostitution instead of being a maid.
Exactly. Then you have insufficient pre-departure orientation or training. It is important to prepare these workers. Even if you're going to work locally, in an organization locally, usually they orient you at the beginning. Here, this is what happens, this is what happens. So when you get into that workforce and there's certain things you're prepared to address.
Yes.
Now here you are, you're leaving the country. Your first time to leave your village is when you're given a passport and you're told you are going to Saudi Arabia. There's a cultural shock.
But James, you see, some of these things are done out of desperation.
No, but you see,
these young people are desperate.
The pre-departure orientation and training is supposed to be handled by the agency taking you out.
So
it's one of the requirements.
We crucify the agency.
Yes, it's one of the
requirements. Who take these young people prematurely without proper
ministry. Because the direct ministry responsible for it
is been subjected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it is also sleeping on the job.
So current minister is former promoter.
Is the state minister.
Is the state minister. Oh, state minister, yes.
Yeah.
But now,
is equally responsible.
Who isn't he?
Is this Mama Akena?
Mama Akena.
The right honorable, the wife to Honorable Akena, I think.
Okay, you were
among
Anita.
Not
where are you going? Come back.
But anyway, you were asking where does a 25 billion? How does it help appreciate these kadamas? These are the kind of things it's supposed to be doing. There should be inspectors making sure that they move around, and they state it in the policy, in the regulations under the Employment Act.
Yes.
Monitoring these agencies. Do they do that? Okay. Then you have the lack the lack of for bilateral agreements for many destinations.
Yes.
At most, I think right now we have like 2 or 3 bilateral agreements only. But the destinations that they go to, they are, if you look at the list,
several
many countries. Okay? That also is another challenge. You get the issue also of lack of employment contracts. Again, this gets back to the monitoring of these agencies. These kids go out there, they haven't signed. This LYADDA, you're sure of this, and you know this happens a lot. Sure. Many of them are always on TikTok saying, when I came, I didn't sign anything. But they told me outside when I reach here, and because of their naivety, then I can't let me go.
But you see, some of them are, a number of them are educated young people.
You know? Then you have the what you call the unofficial brokers. They're the majority.
Sure.
Compared to the official brokers.
But you see, in Uganda, when you talk about brokers, there are so many. You recently just went to the park where these, box bodies, those trucks that transport different commodities to different parts of the country. And I realized they also have brokers, and they can actually fail you from getting a truck at the actual price. You get? It's the same thing, and you wonder who you're going to blame because this goes unregulated. You get, this goes unregulated. It's where interventions should come. But you see, in Uganda, apparently, we have a lot of unregulated things that are going wrong. Prices are not regulated. You're going to find someone setting a price at his own pace. You know, now, taxi.
You see, finally, much as you don't want me to speak.
We want you to speak, please.
Finally,
I was coming to you.
Some of the regulators are the main operators of what they are supposed to regulate. I'm trying to say some of these companies are owned by people in the government who are in the Ministry of again gender, or who are MPs, or who are ministers, public officials.
I hope you're not speculating, because we would need some of this to be confirmed.
So it becomes very hard for these people to really implement these hard regulations against themselves.
Is there evidence?
There's a conflict of interest. They will be calling police. Hello, you don't know I'm honorable so and so. Please don't squeeze so much. And the best tool to labor exploitation is media.
Do you, for example, know that one of the requirements according to the regulations of the labor export is all migrant workers shall be provided both life and personal accident insurance, which is applicable to the host country, not at the cost of the worker.
But a number of them are dying with accidents. And
we have been soliciting money to bring them back.
You get it?
When they are sick.
You had a story here. What was the story about? And you have participated so much in helping some of these kadamas. What was the story about in the paper?
Actually, the story was about a young lady from Busala in the BUTALEJJA district. She had developed complication. Yesterday we have been discussing that these people, when they get sick in those countries, their employers buy them Panadol.
No matter the complication.
Exactly. The medicine is the same for different diseases.
But these are countries that have advanced medical systems.
Absolutely. They have very high working hours. I'm told they don't have off. You work from Monday up to Sunday.
That's slavery.
Then, this lady developed
what was the young lady's name?
She's called Migamba Susan.
That's it.
She was around 30 years by then. And I'm very happy she came back. But she came back with swollen legs. I'm told due to overworking she had kidney issues which affected the legs. Actually, she came and she wouldn't walk. I picked her from the airport, as you can see.
You picked her from the airport?
Exactly.
As
a well-wisher, it was my first time.
Where were the authorities at this point?
We made noise on social media. We made noise. People kept quiet. But then the non-actors...
Was it reported to the government officials? Was it reported to the RDCs?
I don't speak of RDC.
We need to speak about it, and this is where your previous accusations of, you know, they sign for them and then they don't support them. Did you support the RDC? Did you report to the Ministry of Gender?
Actually, like I have noted, the best solution as government tries to have goodwill. As a country, we don't have goodwill for our people when they are into issues abroad. This lady had an issue. She gave me an audio. And what touched me basically, she sent an audio saying, LYADDA, they call me Papa, I'm going to die, but I would wish to die from home.
She had given up on her life.
Meaning she had given up. She said, I cannot walk, but I'm forced to crawl and go and wash the toilet. Moses, I'm going to die. Let me die from home.
Who has such a heart to do something to someone who's dying?
So from there, we started writing on social media. Guys came on board. The guys of press, especially the print, came and made about 3 calls and stories. And I want to give credit to all media fraternity. Thank you so much. If it wasn't media, we would have no lady buried in our land. She would be dead. Because by the time she came, it took this lady time. Actually, we almost got an accident as we were coming from the airport. I equally, when I was returning, still, our car knocked. It took her 3 months of an operation by an NGO in Mayuge. I have forgotten it. Do you know a disease that takes you 3 months?
To heal.
To heal.
We are discussing the challenges after looking at the contributions of labor export in Uganda's economic development. We are looking at the challenges, and this is one. Mr. LYADDA is discussing one of the major stories that happened from the district of BUTALEJJA of a young lady who went in under labor export. She almost lost her life. Which country was that?
That was Saudi Arabia. Like, is it the place is called, the city is called LYADDA? Eh? You know my name.
Ryder.
What sound like my name?
The story of someone being sick and you give them Panadol when he has major complications is absurd. But also the story of pushing someone to go and work, to crawl and go and work, is inhuman. Now, if these are the challenges that young people are going through, James, what are the remedies? What are some of the steps that are being taken by the government to see how some of these challenges don't happen?
Yeah, I think there are a number of remedies. Some are on the side of government, others are on the side of we the citizens. On the side of government, I think one of those has been the fact that they are now beginning to set up bilateral agreements.
And we appreciate that.
So that we know the engagement, how will it be when A happens, B happens. Those agreements are detailed. They show how you engage depending on the situation at hand. Okay? 2, the government should stop at lip service, especially when it comes to enforcing the guidelines in the regulations of the Employment Act regarding the workers abroad. It should ensure that it enforces, because it is clear when you do those regulations, they show a lot, they have a lot of depth, and you believe that once that is there, you will not be hearing such stories. But unfortunately, they do nothing most of the times. They just sit back. Embassy staff don't really care. Whenever there is a problem with many of those young ladies out there, you call the embassies, they did, we don't know, the ping pong. They are also for the citizens. As the citizens, it's also important to ensure that we do what we're supposed to do right. Many times in a bid to rush and cut corners,
out of desperation,
we end up forgetting that in the event that things go wrong, you have no fallback position. And that's when you end up dying abroad and the government is blamed for such.
Uganda lives matter. I'll tell you one thing. If one American went through something like that in this country, it would become an international matter. We are looking at a number of Ugandans. I don't know how many. You talked about 10 that were buried in BUTALEJJA alone?
Close to 10 for the last 2 years.
And that is only BUTALEJJA.
I attended 4 physically.
Look at Mbale, look at Mbarara, look at Gulu.
And there are districts which are very silent, by the way.
They are very silent.
They die in their own movement.
Now, if some of these things are happening and they have continued to happen, well, we appreciate the government for coming out to build bilateral relations to make sure that some of these, and strengthen diplomatic ties with some of these countries. We hope that things happen right. In about 1 minute, give me your last remarks about this particular topic.
I think government has tried to show us that it is doing something.
Yes.
But practically, there's nothing serious being done. I want to appeal to government and policymakers that can we decentralize these processes, just like you see how you get a passport. That instead of me traveling from Karamoja to the Ministry of Labor, I should be able to go to the district. And it is effective.
So that we keep the district team that is in charge of that fully accountable.
Such that the labor office at the district is not paid for nothing.
There's a labor office at the district?
Yes, each district is supposed to have a labor officer. Okay. Because now you go to the ministry, you don't find the commissioner in charge, you leave the complaint, no email, nothing. And for us, we are like, we can reach here. Now imagine a situation where those people can't reach. Then, we want, let me inform the audience that the government has increased guarantee money from 50 million shillings to 100. Like if you have a company, you have that money that is kept at the bank, such that in a case someone is sick, that money, I think, is the one supposed to be used to rescue
and
this person.
That money is supposed to
but this is in the regulation. Practically, you will never see it.
You'll never see it.
Yeah? They have also brought a regulation that you don't publish job adverts before they are being approved by the ministry.
James, in less than 1 minute, your last remarks.
Yeah, my last remark actually is I appeal to the government to ensure that we move up the pecking order. We have specialized in just sending out maids, but I think Uganda has very many professionals. You even find accountants doing that work of maids because of lack of jobs. If we can start marketing all the different professions, engineers, doctors who want to go out.
Like Indians have done. I mean, they have taken over all the professional.
I know we have competent people that can go out there, computer programmers. We have numerous across the board. Let's start marketing the cream.
We need to see CEOs at Silicon Valley.
Alongside.
We need to see CEOs at Silicon Valley.
Sure.
Thank you so much, dear viewers. This marks the end of our show. The Economic Agenda happens every Tuesday from 9 p.m. My name is Noah Opera. Today we were discussing the labor export and Uganda's economic development. And of course, next Tuesday we're going to be here. This is Smart 24 TV, Driving Business. We want to wish you a wonderful night, and thank you to my guests for today. That was life-changing conversation.
It's a pleasure.
Have a good night.
Smart 24